Good morning, everyone. Jill here with North Texas Vegetable Gardening, canning, recipes, a little bit of everything, and look at that sunrise. This is such a beautiful view that the good Lord gives me every morning. Got lots of updates for you, so stay tuned. Good morning, everyone. Jill here with North Texas Vegetable Gardening, canning, recipes, a little bit of everything, and you can see the high tunnel is coming up and we're making terrific progress. Today they're going to go along and put the sides up where you put the wiggle wire, and they're going to be doing a little bit of reinforcing. But let me show you some of the end walls here and talk about what we're doing. You can see from this end wall that my husband and my brother-in-law are shoring it up really well. If you guys have watched any of our videos over time, you know that we have very high winds here. And we did go with a rim-all high tunnel, because we feel like that's going to be a best fit for us here in Texas with the high winds. We do not have very many trees around to stop the wind from blowing, and so we need to ensure that this high tunnel is going to stand up to the winds that we get out here. They are doing a fantastic job, and you can see here this is the west wall, and we have two cutouts for vents here. The high tunnel itself has 4 vents and 2 doors. This is one of the doors, and this is the east wall, and that's another door. And the high tunnel also comes with an overhead door. I believe it's an 8-foot overhead door. So you can see they have framed it out very well to sustain the winds that we get out here. And we did get the double poly, and what that means is that we have there's going to be air pumped in between the 2 layers of plastic that we put on this. It's going to give it additional insulation and additional strength when the wind comes through. And these are the other 2 vents. So we feel like as the sides roll up and the vents and with all the doors that we're going to get adequate ventilation to keep things cooled off in there in our summer months. And also in the winter months, you got to remember that when you have a high tunnel or a greenhouse, it could be 20 degrees outside and jump up to 70 or 80 in your high tunnel or your greenhouse in a full sun environment. We have experienced that with one of our smaller greenhouses. So some of you may be asking why have we chosen to go this route instead of doing our conventional garden every year. We have chosen to go this route because we want to ensure that we can grow our food year-round, and that's exactly what we're going to try to do. We have all kinds of ideas. It is going to be a learning process, and it's going to be a journey, and we ask that you hit that subscribe button if you want to follow us along on this journey, because I believe that this may be one of the ideas that's going to happen for gardening in the future. We are in the middle of a grand solar minimum. NASA has confirmed that. They believe that it started around April. We kind of believe it started a little earlier, but we'll go with what NASA says. And a grand solar minimum affects our climates. It affects our growing seasons. It can cut them short. We can get early freezes, which you guys know that I've seen the last 2 years. And so we want a longer growing season, and in fact we want a year-round growing season. So this is why we have decided to do this. It was kind of costly, but not as much as you'd think. I think that we invested about $6,000 to $7,000 in this greenhouse. And then we had to buy the lumber. Lumber, guys, is extremely expensive right now due to all the things that are going on in the world. You want to keep in mind that our farmers have been hit the last couple of years on their crops, and we expect them to be hit this year with this grand solar minimum going on. So this is the route we have decided to go. So let me take you around and show you what's going on with some of our seed starting and what we intend to put in the high tunnel. So what's on my agenda today is I'm going to go ahead and put some of these lettuces in my raised beds out there, because I want them to start producing pretty quick, and lettuces will produce real quick. In fact, I'll show you my radishes and the seeds I planted just a couple of weeks ago. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to save some of these for the high tunnel. They're going to go in the high tunnel. We have some kale here. We have some Swiss chard. We have some cabbage. And then I have some squash and zucchini, and you can see this is looking a little light, so I'm going to need to fertilize this today and probably transplant it into a bigger pot. And then whenever we get in the high tunnel, I can either transplant it or I can leave it in the pot. But my cabbage is doing real good, and guys, check out my tomatoes. These are going to need a little bit of fertilization, I believe, too. But these are the cool weather tomatoes. These are the black creme and the black cherry, and we're counting on these to produce in that high tunnel. Here's one of my raised beds, guys. You can see my carrots are doing great. I'm very excited about these, and you can see my cabbage. You know what? Honestly, I wasted seed, guys, which is a big no-no. I seeded too heavily, so I've got to thin these out, which is exactly what I'm going to do. And then I have this Landis winter lettuce here, and it's going to produce quite well. We will have some lettuce here in the next couple of weeks. So you can see in this raised bed, it's doing great. And you want to stay tuned, because what we're going to do is, you can see this shade cloth that's draped over our raised bed. We're going to convert these to little mini high tunnels by putting plastic over them if it looks like it's going to get, if we're going to get a freeze before some of these things come to fruition. So excited about my radishes, guys. I want to show you some of these. These are delicious radishes. You can see them coming up down here. In fact, I can probably pick some of these and put them in a salad tonight. And that's what I will do. And these are my Easter basket radishes. These are going to be multicolored. They're going to be very high in antioxidants, very healthy for us. Ooh, look, you can see here. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And then we've got some others over here. And let's see how these are doing. These are doing quite well. I don't think they're quite ready to be picked, but some of the other ones are. And our ginger is doing okay. And if you recall, a couple of weeks ago, I put some garlic in the ground. And that will come up. When I pull these radishes up, that garlic's going to come up just perfectly in here. Look at my beautiful peppers. These are starting to produce quite well. And I'm trying to hang on to these, guys. I'm going to leave them in this high, or in this raised bed until we get the high tunnel going. And then they will go directly into the high tunnel over the winter. We have some jalapeno plants over there. You can see. Got one little tomato bush that's producing. We have some kale in here. So I'm going to get in here and clean some of this out. And I'm going to put some of my lettuces and my Swiss chard in here. And that tomato bush is starting to bloom, but I really don't think it's going to bring any fruit before our first freeze. But again, we intend on trying to make this a mini high tunnel with some plastic. So you want to stay tuned and you want to subscribe. We got some broccoli in there. I need to move that hose. But I got lots of things that we're going to plant in here today. So again, why are we doing this? We're doing this because we want to ensure that we're able to grow food year-round here in Texas. And we think that we're going to be able to accomplish that with our high tunnel. Again, it's going to be a learning process, and we're going to put it in, guys, and we're going to see what we can do. And we want you to come along with us. This very well may be the future of gardening. If you have the land and if you have the space, even a small backyard, you can do a smaller high tunnel and generate you some food throughout the year. So we're very excited. Stay tuned. If you like this video, we ask that you hit the like button and that you hit that subscribe button. Got lots of great things going on, guys. Lots of great things. It's going to help you become more self-sufficient, more self-sustaining, which is very important to all of us. We don't know what is going to happen in the world in the next couple of years, but I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty rough time, and we're getting as prepared as possible, and we think that you should too. Follow along and we'll show you what we can grow. Take care. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend.